Okay, so today is October 26, 2018. I'm here with Dr. Tui Dong. My name is Amber Liu, and
Kelly Dong.
Good afternoon, Amber and Kelly. Yeah, my name is Tiem Dai. Tio Dai. Yeah.
so can you tell us a little bit about your early life, where you were born, and a little bit about your family?
Okay. I was born in Nam Dinh, a small town in North Vietnam. It was about 90 kilometers far from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. I have five brothers and sister, and my father is a government employee for the city of Nam Dinh. My mother is a small businesswoman. She have a small store.
What did she sell at her store?
Grocery store, everything. Yeah, everything.
I see. So can you tell us a little bit about your experiences from childhood? Something memorable?
I remember that my family was in a small village, about 10 kilometers far from Nam Dinh. In 1946 or 47, because of the war, my family have to move to the city of Nam Dinh. So at that time, the war between Viet Minh and French become more and more intensive. So my family have to move. And when I was in Nam Dinh, I attended elementary school in a Catholic school, so-called Saint Joseph Catholic Elementary School.
So are you Catholic? Or
No, I'm Buddhist.
But so when you were in Catholic school, did they make you do prayers or other?
Yes, I do pray every morning before school, before class begin.
So eventually your father sent you to South Vietnam while the rest of your family stayed in North Vietnam, right?
Yes, yeah, this is a long story, In 1954, the fight between Viet Minh and French become intensive, and the French lose the battlefield in Dien Bien Phu. And both sides signed an so-called Geneva Accord, and the Vietnam divided into two. The North belonged to the communist regime, and the South is a democratic government. And at that time, my father and people in the North or in the South don't know anything about the communism. Ho Chi Minh say that they are nationalists, so we are very confused. We don't know what to do. And according to the Geneva Accord, the country is divided into two, North and South, and they have a general election 2 years later.
The North or the South?
No, the North and South. The whole country will have an election in 2 years. So my father decided to send me to the South, and the rest of the family still in the North.
So why was it just you? Why not send, your brothers down south as well?
Yeah, to my younger brother and sister is too young. But my older brother, the Asian family, they need the elder son to live with them. So my parents chose me, send me to the South.
So where did you go in South Vietnam? What cities did you live in?
Saigon, yeah. I went to Saigon with a friend of my father. Go with them. And then I lived with my uncle there. This uncle, that means brother of my father in there.
So what was the difference between living in North Vietnam versus living in South Vietnam?
Well, it's a difference between, let me say that, difference between Nam Dinh, Hanoi, and Saigon. Nam Dinh is a very small city, very peaceful. And Hanoi is a very an ancient city, old city, but it have a beautiful lake, so-called Return Lake. That's a very beautiful one. Quiet, old city. People is quiet, very elegant. But Saigon is more westernized. It have a high building, a lot of car and something like that. People very busy. That's the difference between three cities.
I see.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that South Vietnam was more westernized because of the French?
Yes, it belongs to French colony.
I see. So the fight between the French and the Vietnamese communists, did that impact your daily life a lot, other than moving?
Before a young one?
Yeah, when you were young.
When I young, yes, it affect me a lot. It affect me a lot. That's the reason when in my early time, because of the war, I have to move to the south, to Saigon. It affect me a lot to my future, everything, to find my family, to my future and everything.
I mean more like your everyday life, like when you were in school, when you were just
In
like,
the south, yeah, it affect me a lot.
Yeah.
But it affect me especially about the last 2 years of high school and during my college life. It affect me a lot because at that time the war is become more and more intensive, and a lot of people was mobilized and so-called what do you say drafted. Yeah. So a lot of young was drafted and a lot of young were die or wounded. So we worry a lot. It affect me a lot.
So you knew people who were drafted into the army or who fought in the war when you were, I see.
Yeah.
So you eventually went on to go to college, right? So what did you study when you were in college?
Yeah. It's different from here. In Vietnam at that time, we have to pass an exam. I chose College of Agriculture, University of Saigon, and to take an exam. About 1,000 students enrolled for the exam, and they take about 50 or 60, something like that. Very difficult. And I got into that College of Agriculture. The reason why I chose that, because Vietnam is an agricultural country. About 80% of the income of the country belong to agriculture, and a lot of people was peasant, and they live with cultivation.
So when you were in college, there was still the war and there was still fighting?
It is fight a lot, yeah. It is. That is in 61 until more and more,
Yeah. So were you able to keep in touch with friends or family who were really close to the war, who were fighting in the war?
You mean that contact with my family in the north?
Yeah.
No.
No?
They don't let us to do that. We don't. During the time I live in the South Vietnam, I could not hear anything from my family in the north.
I see. So, what kind of thing did you have a lot of free time in college? Did you do a lot of fun things?
What is in the college funding? No, not at all. I only enjoy with my classmates and study and study. That's
I
it.
see.
Study and study. Yeah.
So while you were in college, the Tet Offensive happened, right?
Yeah, it is in January 1968. Yeah. No, at that time I graduated in 1964.
Ah, okay.
And since 1964 to 69, I was an instructor at University of Saigon. And during the Tet Offense, January 1968, I am teaching at University of Saigon already.
So how did that impact you?
Well, that's a very sad, very sad. Let me tell you that during Tet, that is New Year, the both sides look like the Viet Cong and South Vietnamese government, they make agreement that they cease fire for 3 days and let the people enjoy the New Year, to pray the ancestors, something like that. But the North Vietnamese break the agreement. They attack everywhere in the South Vietnam. They break the law, they break the agreement. So people condemn about that. And they kill a lot of people, thousand innocent person on that offense.
Yeah. So, but at that time, you wouldn't know if your family in North Vietnam was safe. What about in South Vietnam?
We don't know. I know nothing about the North, the family in Vietnam. But in South Vietnam, we are so worried because every know that after the Tet offense, the government will increase the number of soldiers in the battlefield. So a lot of young people will be drafted.
I see.
So everybody worry, worry. And you know that every day the Viet Cong, I live in Saigon, and the suburb of Saigon, there are a lot of Viet Cong. They attack by get some canal to the city. Every year we heard a lot of bombing like that. That's terrible. And every day the news from friend of mine, they said that someone was killed, some friend of mine was killed, friend of mine was wounded. That's sad news. That's very bad, situation at that time.
So while all of this was going on, you decided to get married, right?
No, at that time I have no idea about getting married. Even though at that time I was 26 or 27 years old. But my uncle and my aunt, they are worried for me. They say that sooner or later I will be drafted. So, the Asian, they were, my uncle considered me like his own son. So he want to have a grandson, something like that. So they pushed me to get married, So because I love my uncle and my aunt, so I say that, okay, get married and let them happy.
So after you got married, can you tell us a bit about your wife and children?
Well, my wife, she's a lovely lady. She's 2 years younger than me. And after I got married, about a year later, I have a child, a son. And then after that, before I went to the U.S., and she told me that she got pregnant and maybe get one more child. I am so happy at that time.
So when you mentioned coming to the U.S., that was to come study, right? So can you tell us a little bit about why you decided to come to America to study?
But I like the government, the South Vietnamese government, because during that war, they still think about the future of the country. So the South Vietnamese government and the U.S. government have a plan to select some youth to go to the U.S. for higher education. So I was so lucky to be selected, one of them. Not too many go to U.S. at that time. a year about 5, 6, or 7 people could go. So
really
I'm
selective.
so happy. I'm so lucky.
So what did you study there?
Well, I chose biochemistry and nutrition. Yeah, that's at that time in Vietnam, we don't have much in that field. Not too many study in that field, so I chose that.
So while you were in college in the U.S., how was that different than being a college student in Vietnam?
Yeah, it's quite different. It is quite different. In Vietnam, we have to study by heart, memorize everything that professors say. We don't have too many books. We don't have many books for references. No, only what the teacher, what the professor say. We have to memorize it. That's it. And here, you see, you study here, we have a lot of books. So it's quite different between the school in Vietnam and school in the U.S.
So which one did you like more? Did you like studying in Vietnam or did you like studying in America?
Of course. At that time, I live in campus of University of Florida, so I don't know much about the city. But anyhow, I go around, but it's for sure the city in U.S. is much better than in Vietnam. Vietnam at that time is at war. Everything is terrifying. We don't have enough everything. We don't have enough everything, and people worry about the war.
So since you were in college at the time, like, what do you think Americans thought about the Vietnam War?
I can say that American is so naive, very naive. They only think they believe what the media say. And I live in here from 1969 to 75. I know, and I see that what Mr. Walter Cronkite of CBS say on the television every day. I watch him every day, and I think that what they say in the television is quite different from my experience in Vietnam. And they take bias, only talk good about the North Vietnam and bad about South Vietnam. He doesn't understand that. Or I think he understands that, but he ignores it. He biased. Yeah. So we make a film, Vietnam America, here to tell the truth. To tell the truth. What's the truth about Vietnam War?
So you feel like the Americans were too naive to understand what was going on in Vietnam?
Yeah, I say that they are naive. They only believe what the media say. He looked like one picture of a general killed one Viet Cong. That's a famous picture. But the other side of the picture, the whole story is different. Because that Viet Cong is killed the whole family of his friend, is a colonel. That Viet Cong killed the whole family and then run, but he was seized by a soldier, bring it to the general, and tell the story that he killed the major, his major already, the whole family and many people in there already. And that general was so angry. And, at that time, at the battlefield, yeah, so you think what happened? That is the whole story. And the only, the thing that they only see the picture, the general kills one man. That's unhuman. Now, in the battlefield is different.
So did you keep in touch with your family in South Vietnam while you were in America?
Sure. I wrote a letter frequently and ask my wife about my two children, my uncle and my aunt, almost every week.
I see.
Yeah.
So you kept in touch with how it was going on in Vietnam, and you knew it was different than what the media was saying?
Yeah, quite different, quite
I
different.
see. So were there any other difficulties adapting to life in the U.S. after growing up in Vietnam?
No, not quite. But that I only think that how to study good and try to come back to my family quickly, and that's what I think.
So once you came back to your family in Vietnam, you started teaching at the University of Saigon,
Mm.
right? So what made you return to Vietnam?
Yeah, a lot of reason why I make a decision that I have to return to Vietnam, because that is almost end of the war. I graduated from University of Florida in December 1974, only a few months before we lost the war. And in U.S., at University of Florida, we know that we win-lose. But I still decide to go back. There are several reasons. First of all, I want to reunite with my wife and two children. Secondly, I want to see my uncle and my aunt. Third one is, if the country is reunited, I can see my mother, my father, my brother and sister in the north. And the fourth and the last one, and I think that I can repay to the country everything the country give me the opportunity. Look like I can study, I can graduate from University of Saigon. I taught at University of Saigon after that, and then I went to the U.S. Why? A lot of people, a lot of friends of mine, a lot of youth die or be wounded. So I have a lot of opportunity. They give me a lot of chance. So I want to repair it. So I decided to go back.
So when you came back to Vietnam, you decided to teach at the University of Saigon, right? So
Yes. The new government let me continue teaching at University of Saigon. Yeah.
So you started teaching after the country was reunified.
Yeah. After the communists took over the South Vietnam. You want me to tell what happened?
Yeah, of course.
When I teach that? Well, I was controlling everything by jungle man. Because people take over the university, they know nothing about academy, they know nothing about education. They are from jungle. They come there and watch people. You know the slogan to put right in front of university? Red is better than knowledge. That's the slogan. So everything have to study communist theory. Look like everything. And they watch me a lot. They control me, everything.
So what did you teach at university?
Biochemistry and nutrition.
So how was that affected by, the communists saying you have to teach in a certain way?
It look like when I say a theory from American scholar, they correct me immediately. They say that is Russian intellectual. It's not American. That's the way they do. They control me everything. They control me everything. That's very bad.
Yeah. So did you feel like you had a lot of freedom as a professor, or just
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. No freedom at all.
Right. So when you were teaching, what was interacting with students like? What was talking
Well,
with other professors like?
Student, that's a student, my own student, that means student in the South. There are some students sent it from the North. But my own student, South Vietnamese student, and my assistant, they protect me. They love me a lot. They protect me everything from the eye of the jungle man, and that's the way they are. So we trust everybody. We trust each other. We love each other, and until now, they still have a class reunion, and anytime they ask me to come every year, and I come to meet them. They are old right now, 60 something, my old student, but they still respect me. All my professors, me like that. Every year they have a class reunion, and I come with them.
So you taught at the University of Saigon for a while, but then eventually you decided to. There were your family in Nam Dinh. You heard a word from them, right?
Yeah, but in 1968, my sister come to the South and meet me, and she told me everything about my family in the North. From 1954 and beyond. She told me that the new government, that is communist government in the North, they create one program so-called land reform. And at that time, after 74, my family moved back to my village, and they confiscate my house, the land of my father, even though that he have a small piece of land for rice cultivation. And so my family have no family to live. They have to go around everywhere. And my father died a few years later. So that's a terrible life after 74, and make people become poor, very poor.
So what happened to the rest of your family, your older brothers and your
Well,
mother?
yeah, my brother and my sister at that time, they don't let them go to school. You know why? Because I am in the South. Their enemy, so they don't let go to school. So my brother and sister have to go somewhere to find hard labor job for surviving. That's it. Yeah. When I think about that, I'm difficult to.
Yeah. What about your mother?
Well, my mother's still there. my mother's still there, and try to survive.
Right. So did they ever think about coming down to the South, or were they allowed?
They are not allowed to go.
So they had to stay in North Vietnam.
In Vietnam. They are not allowed to go far from the village. That's the way they, they want to control everything. They want to see what's going on with them, because I am in the South. Even though I am 12, 13, 16 years old, and they consider me as an enemy.
But eventually you decided to leave Vietnam, right? Well, you're here today.
Yeah, yeah.
So
when I taught at University of Saigon, and in 1980, I see the situation in the South at that time, and I heard what happened to the North, as my sister told me. I thought that I cannot live with them anymore. And especially when I look at my two children, they have no future at all. So I decided to go back American again.
So how did you manage to leave Vietnam? What was your journey like?
Uh-huh. A friend of mine, one day he told me that, you want to go? I said, where? To escape. I said that, no, I don't have money. And he said that, no, you don't have to pay right now, because if you get to America, we'll pay later. So I decided to go. And he told me that he know the organizer of the trip. He wants someone can speak English. So he let me go like that way. So I agreed that, and I discussed with my wife. And my wife told me that because of future of the children, you need to go.
But it was just you by yourself, right? Your wife and your children couldn't come with you.
No, I go by myself because I know that the journey on the sea is very dangerous. If I die, that's okay. My wife and my children can survive.
So what was the journey itself like?
That is terrible. That is terrible. We have a wooden boat, about 12 meters long and about 5 meters width, with 98 people in that, men, women, and children. And we spent 12 days on the sea. We met some high sea storm and Thai pirate. They attack us 2 or 3 times. They take everything of us and take the woman with them. And during the journey, 12 days, I see 2 storms, very dangerous storm. And I thought that I die at that time. You know, one night I see that before I die, I want to look at the sea. What's going on with the sea? I want to see it. When I look at outside, I see the water is so dark, very dark. The sky is terrible. And my boat sometimes it look like going down, like go to the bottom of the sea. And suddenly it's going up, go to like to hit the ground. You see the waves so furious like that. And everybody say that we'll die. We pray before we die. So we met 2 storms like that. And after 12 days, and during 12 days we have no food, no water, nothing. And the children, a lot of children die. And women was, the Thai pirate take them with them. So finally we are rescued by a fisherman of Indonesia, and he let us to go a small island in Indonesia, and we got to the Galang refugee camp.
So what was life in the refugee camp like?
Well, I came to Galang refugee camp in the 1st of June 1980, and a few days later, the UNHCR, looked like a United Nations High Commissioner for Refugee, representative. he asked me to be the chairman of the camp. And the camp at that time, Galang is a very small island, about 1 mile, 1 square mile. And at that time, there are about 17,000 people, refugees there, very crowded.
Were most of the refugees Vietnamese also?
Vietnamese, Cambodian, Laos, yeah. And when representative of United Nations asked me to be the chairman, and we have an election. People there elect me to be the chairman, and I work with him, the UN representative, and the local government look like a Indonesian police there. I work with them to solve everything in the camp. And how the refugee at that time, you can say that it's a small society. We have everybody, intellectual, professor at university, colonel, general, in military. We have a lawyer, we have businessman, we have a gangster, we have a prostitute, everything. We have crime, you know. So I have a lot of headaches to work with them. So every day we have to make a report to the UN and local government. And besides that, any new boat coming, I have to interview them to make a report, something like that. So I have a lot of experience with the trip. And when I was in Galang, I think that my trip is terrible because we have a storm, you get a storm, you get the Thai parade, 12 days of the trip, a lot of people die during the trip. But to compare with others, we are nothing. Look like a trip, some trip, about 100 people come, only 2 people survive. Or they have to eat the human flesh for surviving, something like that. So when I read it, make me, broken heart, my heart.
So how did you leave Galang? Like, what was the resettlement process into the U.S. like?
Well, the process for refugee camp, if I am the newcomer, I was called for interview by UN, United Nations representative. They classify me, what kind of people I am, and what do I want to go, what country I want to go. So, after the interview, I wait for the representative of the country I want to go. It takes about 6 months, 3 months to 6 months to wait. When the representative of the country to come, they call me, accept or not, accept me to go his country or not. If I will accept it, so he asked me to stay there and wait for the trip to the country I want to go. It takes about 3 to 6 more months. Yeah.
So in total, it was about somewhere between 6 months to a year?
6 months to 2 years. Yeah, something like that.
So eventually you came to America. And so what city did you go to?
Well, first of all, I went back to Florida to visit my professor, my friends, my own university. And then I decided to choose Houston, Texas. Because at that time, a lot of people choose Texas and California, Orange County in California. So I chose Texas.
Why did a lot of people choose Texas and California?
I think the first thing is the weather. It look like in Vietnam.
Would another thing be because there was already a community of Vietnamese Americans?
No, at that time we don't have much. In 1980, the Vietnamese community here about 10,000 or 8,000 people, and they live scattered in one area. They are not living in one place.
So what made you choose Houston in particular?
Why I chose it?
Yeah, why you chose Houston?
Because a lot of people, the newcomer, coming here, and you know that since I live in Galang refugee camp, I see a lot of refugees, and I read a lot of stories of the trip, and I think that what I study, like biochemistry, can I help people? Can I help a refugee? Can I help some people suffering right away? So I think that I need to change the way of life. So I want to help people. I want to work for like a social work. I want to do something for the people suffering. So I choose Houston.
So when you came to Houston, what job did you take?
Well, I applied a job for the International Refugee Service. Yeah, this is a non-profit organization to help all refugees, not only Vietnamese, but Cambodian, Laos, East European. At that time, a lot of the East European to come.
So what did you do for them specifically?
Counseling, and help them. Look like they just come help them to do some paper, something like that, paperwork.
So what did you like most about living in Houston? Like, what did you like about living in Houston?
What do you like?
Yeah, what do you like about Houston the most?
Well, I just told you that, you know, Houston at that time is not like developed like this time. Downtown, it look like a western town you see in the film, very boring, and a lot of slum, and a lot of poor people go around the city. Not like that time, yeah. But, and especially a lot of field, look like, I can take an example, look like you go to the Bel Air Boulevard, Southeast Bel Air area. If you go to past Bel Air 8, at that time we don't have Bel Air 8, and two sides of the Bel Air area is cotton or tomato or cornfield. They don't have building, they don't have house like today. But I like Houston because the weather is better.
So what about some things you didn't like about Houston? Was there anything that you found difficult about living here?
No, much better. I am happy I'm happy to live in here, in Houston. Yeah, I think I consider that is my hometown.
So what about like differences between living in Houston versus living in like Saigon? What were some differences?
Difference between Houston and Saigon? Well, in here, when I moved here in 1980, and everybody thinks that we are so happy because we have a life freedom. That's the most important freedom. A lot of food, safe food, transportation, and we enjoy that. And in Vietnam, we don't have like that. Yeah.
So you said that at the time there was a lot of refugees coming from all over the world. What about like the Vietnamese community in Houston?
Well, at that time, we do have a Vietnamese community. We do have, but not too many know about that. Not uh, uh, only at that time, during weekend, people gather at the downtown for shopping. Because at that time we do have some grocery, shopping, restaurant in downtown, especially Travis Street, Milam Street, Main Street, a lot of Vietnamese business there. So during weekend, people come and get together and meet and something like that.
So while all of this was going on, your family was like your wife and your children were still back in Vietnam, right? So what was it like bringing them over?
Yeah, the process there. Yeah. When I come here in 1981, I can say that, let me tell you that I live in Galang from June the 1st, 1980. I left Galang in May 30th, exactly 1 year. So in 1981, I come over here and make all the paper necessary to sponsor for my wife and 2 children. And I become a U.S. citizen 1986. And then it took me 10 years to bring my family here. My wife and children come here in 1991. Exactly 10 years. So 10 years they live there. But very
Did you stay in
difficult.
touch with them
Yeah,
during the time?
yeah,
So they knew you were in Houston and you were safe.
yeah, that's right.
So do you feel like this process was like really bureaucratic or like too difficult?
No, at that time, the reason why it took me 10 years to bring family here, because U.S. government and Vietnamese government do not have relationship. So they can talk. So only I guess in 1996, they do have a relationship between government. So that is the reason.
You see? So at the time, like, do you know what the conditions in Vietnam were like for your wife and children?
Yeah, I know it because my wife wrote me letter and tell me, and the newcomer come here, they talk a lot about that.
So when your wife and children came over, did they speak English? Were they like used to American culture?
Well, that's difficult for them. For me, it's no problem. But look like a newcomer, they come here, a lot of difficult because they cannot speak English. So it takes for a while.
I see.
So especially my children, they went to school. It takes them for a while to get used with that.
But when like your children and you, for example, do you still see yourselves? Did you guys still like identify really strongly as being Vietnamese, or did you eventually say, well, I've lived here for so long, I feel more American now?
No, I consider, and my children, my wife too, they consider as Vietnamese American. Yeah.
So nowadays you work for the HPD, the Houston Police Department, correct?
Yes.
So how did you end up working?
Get into that?
Sorry?
How do I get into
Yeah.
that? Well, do you know that since 1990, not too many refugees to come to this country, less and less. So I think that I have to find their job, but still related with people, to help people. So I'm lucky again. At that time, not too many Asians working for government in 1990. and before that. So I'm lucky because I know Mr. Matawang. She's a city council at that time, Matawang. And Miss Pauline Van Tho, she is a former senator of South Vietnam. And especially Mrs. Perkins, she is a president of West Memorial Club, something like that. Three ladies helped me to get into the job for the HPD.
So what do you do at the HPD?
Well, I work for HPD as an committee liaison, Asian committee liaison.
So what do you do specific, like what would your day-to-day work be?
Let me tell you, at that time, HPD, we do have, I remember, we do have only 3 police officers, 3 Vietnamese police officers, about 10 Asian police officers, not too many, with a big city. So, after 5 years, we do increase to 50 Vietnamese police officers, about 100 Asian police officers. And the reason is I work with the Asian community. I work very close with Vietnamese community, very close with Korean, Thai, Cambodian, Laos, Indian, Pakistan, something like that. So they know it, and we used to invite police officers to come and talk with the community, so they get to know the local government, and they know the recruitment for the police department. So a lot of youth to enroll to the police department.
So do you think, like, before you became a community liaison, there was a lot of distrust for the police among Asian Americans? Like, were they scared of them?
Yeah, most Asian, they don't want to talk to the police, you know. They stay away from that. But when after that, I brought the police officer to the community, they get used with that, you know.
So you think the relationship has improved?
A lot. Besides, I invite police officers to come to talk, and we do have a television, radio, talk show. I invite police officers to talk to the community. We translate the brochure of the police department into their language, into Vietnamese, Korean, something like that.
So what do these talks usually
Crime prevention, yeah, crime prevention, and recruiting.
So why do you think more Asian Americans are joining the police? Like,
Why?
yeah.
You know, as a police officer, that is career. It look like when the requirement is simple, 2 years of college, have health, something like that, and pass the physical exam. And with the salary, it's equivalent to an engineer. And we are not worried about layoff, so very safe. Yeah, that's a good choice.
So now that there's more Asian Americans in the police force, how do you
Yes.
think that's helped Houston?
Yeah, it helped a lot. Now you know that in police department we are the highest rank Asia. Like some captain, we have some captain, a lot of lieutenant, Asian, that is Asian.
So how do you think that's improved? Like, how do you think that's improved, like, the quality of policing for HPD? Or do you think that's made HPD better overall?
Well, I think much better overall because they understand it. Our Asian community, yeah, much
Yes.
better. It improved a lot, you know.
So you also work with the FBI, right?
Yeah, I worked for FBI for a few years, since 19 92 to 95, I guess. Because, at that period of time, a lot of Asian crime in the U.S. because the computer just developed a lot of chip and they steal a chip from the big company and share it, something like that. A lot of crime there. And I want to help FBI for the language. And I work for them as a contractor with my own time, with the approval of my police chief. So I work for them for almost 4 years.
So, so you just did translations, or?
Yeah, a lot of things. Translate and hear in something like that.
So how did that help the case?
A lot.
Yeah. How?
Uh,
Were there a lot of
Detail.
material that was just in Vietnamese that you were?
I'm old enough. I know the slang.
Oh, okay.
The gangster use slang to talk to each other. I understand that.
I see.
It helped a lot.
So eventually was, the case successful?
Very. Some cold case. We solved some cold case.
I see. Would you ever want to work with the FBI again? Like, do you think that was a
Well, I
priority?
own now. No, I don't think so because we have a travel. Every year I travel 2 times. Each case is about 1 month. So I don't want to live far from my family anymore.
So overall, you've worked with HPD, you've worked with FBI and law enforcement. So looking forward to the future, how do you think we can continue to improve relationships between law enforcement and Asian Americans?
Hopefully, after I retire, someone have a knowledge, someone have a skill with the community to continue my job and working with the law enforcement. Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. So going back to your life and your family, did you ever return to Vietnam after?
Yes. First time I come back to 1996. That is coincidence because I left my family in the north in 1954, and then 1975. That is 21 years old. 21 years, and then I come back in 1996. It's all the 21 years. So 21 years. You see. So I come back in 1996 to visit my country, to visit my friend, my own university, my family in the north, my mother, brother and sister. But very sad at that time, very sad because when I returned, everything is changed. It changed a lot. I cannot recognize my own house. It changed. Cannot recognize my university because they built a lot of building with no order, unorder at all, and people, a lot of people in the street, about double or triple people in Saigon, a lot of people. And I went to the north to see my mother. At that time, my mother is about 90 years old, and she forgot. She lost the memory. She didn't know who am I. That's very sad. Very sad.
What about your sister and your brothers?
They still live in the north, but the life is not, still poor, very poor at that time.
I see. So would you ever consider moving back to Vietnam, living with your family again?
Not at all.
No?
Not at all. Because I don't want to live with the communist regime. I want freedom. Because they are the communist leader there. They are dictator. They don't let us to bring the idea. Their idea is the first one, the best one. And they don't use us. They don't trust us. So how can we work with them?
So, do you feel like the country is on the right path?
No.
No?
No, not at all. That's the wrong way to go. Yeah, because since 1954, they take over the north, and then 1975, they took over the south. It's about 70 years. Vietnam is one of the poorest country in the Asia right now. So that is the wrong way.
But if you were to say, like, one thing the Vietnam needs to change, what would it be then? Would it be the freedom?
Democratic. Only way, democratic.
I see. So in comparison to Vietnam, now there's a lot of Vietnamese Americans. So what do you hope that their future looks like? Do you think they're on the right path?
What? Say it again. I
Yeah,
don't
sorry.
understand.
So compared to, so now in America there's a lot of Vietnamese Americans.
Mhm.
Like, what do you hope that the future of Asian Americans or the hope of a future of Vietnamese Americans looks like?
Yeah, I think I am very disappointed with Vietnamese Vietnamese government right now, but I am very proud with Vietnamese American here. Look like in the army, we have three general army. For science, we have a bomb lady. He make a bomb for Afghanistan war. And scientific, we have a lot of scientific. Lawyer, doctor. They are so good. So I'm very proud with our Vietnamese American here.
So what about your grandchildren? Do you think that that they're very in touch with being Vietnamese American? Or do you
Yeah.
think they're just considering themselves American?
It depends on the family, the education of each family. But in the radio talk show, I used to go to the radio, talk to the community. I only tell them to keep the children speak and learn Vietnamese and the culture. Do not forget the roots.
Don't forget where you came from. Right?
The roots.
So do your grandchildren speak Vietnamese and know a lot about Vietnamese traditions?
They don't know much about that, but they speak Vietnamese at home.
So do you think that in the future Vietnamese Americans should stay more in touch with their roots, their culture, learn more about it?
In general, I say okay. It's okay with me right now, the way the Vietnamese keep like that, because but I don't know the future. But except some family, they forget the road, and but it's a minority.
So you've lived a really long life. You've had so many experiences. So if you wanted the future generation to take one thing away from everything that you've learned, what would that be?
Don't forget the roots. That's the one. That's the only one thing. Do not forget the roots. Learn and speak Vietnamese, and that's it.
So in contrast, do you think that there's something that's missing from Vietnamese Americans right now?
So missing, I can tell that, I just told you that some family, not too many, some family, they don't tell people, they don't tell their children to learn or speak Vietnamese. They are Americanized, but not too many family, not too many people like that.
Okay, so one final question. What, out of everything, what are you most proud of?
Well, I'm very proud that for my life, I make the right decision. That the way is helping people. I help a lot since 1980 until now. I help a lot of people in the camp. When in Houston, when I work for the non-profit organization, I help a lot of people. And when I work for City of Houston, I help a lot of people. I'm very proud for myself. Yeah.
I see.
And the one I feel bad about that is I could not repay to my country what I got in favor to finish my school, teaching at university, went to the U.S. for higher education. That's the country gave me. And I have no chance to repay it.
I see.
And you talk about the, the children or grandchildren. I can proud that my daughter, second child, she is 40 now, right now, and she is a pharmacist. She's very busy with her family, with her job, but she organized one traditional music band, so-called Viet Wave. They play some Vietnamese musical instrument, and last few months they perform at the Asian Society, and people love it. That's the way I love it. They still keep their culture. They don't forget their roots.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No,
No?
that's it.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you
Amber.
so much.
Okay.